You might be watching this video because you heard that it is cheap to live in Oklahoma. And it is. Some of my clients that have moved here, however, they find some unexpected and overlook costs. As a side note, you might get a little entertainment over here with the cats, so you're welcome. Everyone brags about how low property taxes are in Oklahoma. But here's what that may actually mean for day-to-day life, especially in small towns. Low taxes could mean that county roads are full of potholes, and maintenance on these roads might take forever. It could also mean that these roads are going to be dirt or gravel. And I still run into a lot of these roads. I leave the metro, of course, and I go to a lot of small towns, but I don't go to all of them. So you can imagine, like, even further out from a metro area, what the roads might look like. There are neighborhoods very close into Oklahoma City and Tulsa that still have gravel and dirt roads. These poor roads might extend your driving time because you can't drive 70 miles per hour on a road that was built for 30 or 40 miles per hour. These kinds of roads might also lead to more maintenance for you and for your car. Like, you might have to go to the chiropractor more often. And I'm only just kidding a little bit. You might also have to get tires more often because the gravel really eats them up. Let me be clear. Not every small town or rural area has difficult roads, but a lot of them do. Public services might also be limited in areas where taxes are low. Your trash might be run by a private company, or you may have to haul it off yourself. The same goes for some police and fire departments in these areas. Like when I was going to elementary school, there was a volunteer fire department right across the street from my small town school. And a volunteer fire department means, of course, that they are not getting paid. They do train, but they are not getting paid necessarily. And it means that it might take longer for them to get to emergencies. Small town schools have less funds to work with. So this might mean that they don't have or cut their AP classes, honors classes, maybe even some sports, drama, art classes, things like that. In these areas of low tax rates, there is usually not a lot of stores either. You may encounter what's called a food desert, which just means that there's no grocery stores or food for miles and miles. This could also mean that once there is a grocery store or a shop, that the prices might be much higher than they should have been. And then, of course, there's the healthcare. In these low tax areas, so many of these rural hospitals have closed or they are on the verge of closing. And this is going to mean more driving for healthcare. You typically have to drive to a larger town to get some specialized care. So the cost here, it's not just money, it's time and it's stress, and that can be very difficult. Oklahoma's pretty famous for having some higher grocery bills. So that's across the entire state, not just in small towns. So the average across the nation was about $270 per year last year. And in Oklahoma, our average per week bill ran around $279 a year. So not a huge difference, but when you look at some other disparities, like, it can make a really big difference. There's an article in Time magazine that hits really close to home for small towns, especially in Oklahoma. So this talks about grocery issues. Walmart is one of our main grocery stores here in Oklahoma. And one of the reasons is that we're so close to Northwest Arkansas, which is where the headquarters of Walmart are located. So the author of this article, she's pointing out some issues here. So one thing she points out is that she can shop at her local grocery store and she can shop at Walmart. So for instance, a can of her favorite oats, a 42-ounce can, at her local store is $9.99. But if she buys it at Walmart, it's $5.68. The same goes for a bottle of olive oil. So a bottle of olive oil at her local store is $14, and then that same bottle at Walmart is $8.37. So at her local grocery store, this can of tomato sauce that she likes to use, it is $9.99. If she gets it from Walmart, that same can, it's $6.88. So just on those three items alone, she would be saving $14 by shopping at Walmart instead of her local store. And it totally makes sense to shop at Walmart when it looks like you're saving that much. But are you actually saving? Let's look. So when Walmart moves in, the smaller grocery stores, they go out of business. And the reason is they cannot compete on price. What happens next? Economists call the waterbed effect. So Walmart is going to keep prices very competitive while they're pushing out all the other grocery stores. And then once those other grocery stores are gone, the prices are going to go up due to lack of competition. And the price is only one way it looks like we save by using Walmart. It is necessary to remember that Walmart is a large corporation. So the money that you spend at Walmart is not typically reinvested in your own economy. That money leaves and goes to a different place. Just like the healthcare deserts in these areas, you're going to find food deserts in these areas as well, meaning no food options for miles and miles. And in small towns, you can find some incredible farmers markets, and you have more opportunity to grow your own food. There is no perfect spot, and you have to make these decisions for you. Utility prices in these small towns might also come as a bit of a shock, and it takes a little getting used to. Fiber internet is available in many areas, and in some areas it's definitely not available. So if you don't have fiber internet, then you're probably going to have satellite internet. And satellite internet can run you up to $150 per month. And there may not be options for different providers. You may only have 2 options, but a lot of times you only have 1 option for a provider. And then there's water. Like, you may not have a water bill in some of these small towns, depending on if you're on well water here in central Oklahoma. You might be on rural water district. You might be on city water. It just kind of depends. For the well water, you won't have a bill, right, for your well, but you may have some other maintenance, like your pump on your well. You may need to install a water softening system so the water doesn't destroy your pipes and your hair. And then in some areas, you're also going to be using an electricity co-op, which means prices can fluctuate a little bit. You might also be using propane. And propane is, of course, the prices are set by the market, just like gas for your car. So those prices can fluctuate as well. I'm going to go back to driving here for a second because I wanted to lump it in with utilities. The average driver spends about $170 per month on maintenance for their car and gas. So that's $2,043 per year. And I feel like that number's a little low. And then there's the emotional cost of being stuck in the car. So even if it's cheaper to live in these small towns, sometimes gas prices and your car maintenance can offset those prices a little bit and make it feel more expensive than you anticipated. Of course, none of that matters if you found a remote job, maybe you're in retirement, but you still do have to get to some places. Like, you can't just stay at home and be okay most of the time. I'm Marcie Billen, and I am a real estate agent here in Oklahoma. I'm also connected to real estate agents all over the country. If you fill out this short form on my website, you can let me know what you need for your relocation to a new state or a new town, and I will call you and get you connected. I'm going to throw my phone number up here too. If you'd rather call me, that's totally fine. I get it. And yes, I do personally make these phone calls. You're going to find this link for my website in the description and also in the comments. So one of the top reasons that people want to move to a small town is because of the elbow room and how quiet and peaceful it is. And yes, it can be so quiet. It's nice until it's not. One thing that some of my clients have overlooked are the roosters. A couple years ago, my husband and I were traveling in Vietnam, and in one hotel we were staying in, a rooster kept crowing at like 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. And you have to understand that roosters do not have wristwatches. They don't just crow or cock-a-doodle-doo at 5 a.m. or whenever the sun comes up. They do that at all hours of the day. So keep that in mind. There's also other noises like fireworks and gunshots and high school football games. Like, it's different noises than you would have in a city, but it's not completely quiet and it's not boring. There are things that are going on. It's just, which noises do you want? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I do think you might enjoy one of these videos next. They're all about small towns.